Good afternoon. It's the Pit Stop, of course, here at Robat TV and all your local podcast systems as well. I'm Stephen McCollum. I got caught up here in the new set, folks. That's what happened there at the beginning of the show. Welcome to the show. Of course, this is our look back show as well. A little bit later than normally, as unfortunately my voice has been a little crazy this week, and so wasn't able to get it done here first couple days of the week. But we got to look back here to Kansas. A lot of excitement, a lot of penalties coming out after Kansas as well, leading into Xfinity and Cup races here coming up this weekend at the Charlotte Roval. And elimination coming up here as well this weekend coming up. So that'll be in our look-ahead show coming out on Thursday as well. But for now, let's look back, of course, at Kansas Raceway. And Xfinity Series and Cup Series battled it out there at Kansas this weekend. Fast, mile-and-a-half track. I enjoy the Kansas racetrack a lot. It's one of my favorite tracks to experience. I can't get enough of it. I think it brings excitement, brings strategy involved. With the green flag, checkered flags, you got choices to make, and all of it came into play this weekend. It was everything that I was hoping it would be going into, of course, the race here this week, last weekend there at Kansas. So, of course, the Xfinity Series gets underway, race 2 of 3 there in the round of 12. And as we all know, Brandon Jones, we told you last week on the Look Ahead show, Brandon Jones came into this race as the only driver in the Xfinity field to have ever won a previous Xfinity race at Kansas. Other drivers here in the Xfinity Series had won some races in truck, ARCA, etc., but not on the Xfinity side of things. So, did that mean he had an advantage? I don't know, but they ran a near-perfect race. Brandon Jones and his teams did as well. Brandon Jones gets his second win of the season. Obviously, a berth in the playoffs, round of 8. That's coming up as well for him for there. Now, on the Xfinity side of things, I enjoyed this race very much here. Strategy came into play, right? It didn't work out, unfortunately, for Allgaier and Mayer in their strategy preparations. Allgaier was dominant in this race early, run stage 1 and 2. Brandon Jones actually finished second in both stages as well. So these two drivers are battling it out and going, with Allgaier getting stage 1 and 2. Then as the race was coming down to an end, Allgaier, Mayer as well, they stayed out instead of pitting on 15-lap older tires during that fourth and final caution, what ended up being the final caution of the afternoon. Of course, at the time, Allgaier and Mayer were hoping that there would be an additional caution where they could get fresh tires on and then have the advantage at that point as well. 15-lap older tires doesn't sound like a lot, but it comes into play here in this race as well. So, they stayed out. They were hoping for another caution, and that just never came for them as well. So they weren't able to use their final set of tires, and they weren't able to compete here for the end of this race because that caution never came. So that means Allgaier and Mayer ends up finishing 13th and 16th in this race when they were hoping to have that kind of a broad side as well. So let's go back. Look, of course, at the CW broadcast here. Xfinity 1, Brandon Jones talking after the race and this win for him and his team advancing to the round of 8. Brandon Jones, everyone.
That was exactly like how we needed that to go down. Those huge 2 second-place stages. First would have been nicer, but I'm not going to get greedy with that. 2 really solid stages, and I mean, just no mistakes. Entire day was so well executed. That's probably by far in my career my most well-executed race to date. So I'm so proud of these guys. We work so hard the entire week to get here and to put races like this together. I was so happy that it went green. I know for the fans, they want to see action, but I was just praying for long runs because this car was so good there. But as fast as Xfinity Mobile all day.
So Brandon Jones, after the race there, I mean, they ran flawless, right? They got the strategy right. It worked out for him at the end. And Brandon Jones getting that victory there in terms of where other people finished in this, in terms of the playoffs, right? Connor Zilisch was second in this race. 2 seconds behind Jones, by the way, in this win as well. Some strategy didn't go his way at all in this race either, but Connor Zilisch there in the second spot. Then Austin Hill finished third. Playoff drivers Sammy Smith and Sheldon Creed were 4th and 5th here in their finish at Kansas as well. Then you got Taylor Gray, Jesse Love, Nick Sanchez all finishing there in the top 8 of the race. front-packed playoff racing here in this Kansas race as well. Then you got some non-playoff guys involved here. Justin Allgaier, as I told you, finished 13th. And then Carson Kvapil there finished 15th for him. And then Sam Mayer, I already told you, in the 16th spot with kind of that strategy not going their way. They took a shot, didn't work out, finished 13 and 16 between those two guys out there. Harrison Burton, well, he finished 20th here at this race as well as a playoff driver as well for him. So the strategy didn't work. Gets the win there for Brandon Jones. Kind of an improbable win for Brandon Jones as well. Not because he's been the only Xfinity driver to win there at Kansas on the circuit, but a lot of expectations on Allgaier, a lot of expectations on Connor as well, obviously to dominate these racetracks and kind of not getting to that point here with those guys out there. So we gave you the running order here in terms of the playoff drivers, and, well, without winning, Connor Zilic and defending series champion, right, Justin Allgaier, they also advanced on the next round based off of the points that they got here in this race as well for both of those drivers. So we have 3 of the 8 spots taken here going into the elimination race this weekend at the Charlotte Roval for the Xfinity racers as of this point. So it is a lot happening. Some of the spots are out of there, kind of pulls down the guys that are still needing to get in, either with winning or pointing into the playoffs here with this cutoff coming this weekend. It means 5 spots, right, available. How close are those 5 spots? Well, let's throw up the playoff standings for you here at Kansas. Obviously, as we told you, Brandon Jones, Connor Zilic, Justin Allgaier all advancing in. Wins and points here for them. Don't forget, non-playoff driver won the first race in this round as well. Sam Mayer, I've told you all along, Zilic, Allgaier, Mayer, all advancing out of this round. It's going to happen again unless something catastrophic happens for Sam Mayer. He's going to get out of this round as well. Then it gets bunched up a little bit, right? Taylor Gray, Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapil, Jesse Love there, 5 points from the cut line. As of right now, standing right there on the inside of the playoffs. Nick Sanchez, Austin Hill, folks, at 7 points. Made some good runs here with that finish he had at Kansas. He's within striking distance. So's Harrison Burton, who finished 20th in this rate there in that 11th spot right now. Even Sammy Smith. I said Sammy Smith's the one guy that could probably make a run here and get to that 8. He's within striking distance as well to flip this here. So basically 4 spots, in my opinion, right, between Taylor Gray, Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapil, and Jesse Love. 4 spots, 8 drivers can get in advance, even without a win. Just on the point side, if they run well at the Charlotte Roval, they can advance and get on that positive side here coming up in the Xfinity Series. So it's close. It's very close here for the Xfinity Series as well. So this is going to be a fun elimination race coming up this weekend at the Charlotte Roval. Now, like I said, a lot of strategy involved that didn't work out for these guys. I'll give the 12 drivers credit here in this Xfinity Series. They are battling it out. They all want to advance, and they've made it competitive to advance for them coming up as well. This is going to be a fun elimination race to see. I think it's going to be a close one as well coming up this weekend. We'll talk more about that on the Look Ahead show coming up Thursday here, Robat TV, as well as the free podcast systems coming up as well from that perspective, looking ahead. Other news, obviously, Connor Zilic here at this Xfinity Kansas race finished second in it and everything. But, I mean, he's just continuing his record-setting Xfinity year here. Of course, moving up to the Cup Series next year, but Connor Zilic got his 16th consecutive top 5 finish here in Kansas. Obviously finished second as well in that 16th consecutive top 5 finish, folks, for the young 19-year-old driver out there. It does top the previous record of 15. It was set in 1983 by Sam Ard in this Xfinity Series. Series legend is what everybody's calling him there at that point. A record from 1983 being toppled, of course, by Connor Zilic as well here in this race this weekend. It's this Xfinity Series we're all anticipating one of three guys, maybe one of two guys, right? Connor Zilic eventually being the champion. Justin Allgaier has a chance to repeat if he'd like to, if he can get past his teammate. Sam Mayer's got an outside chance to win a championship if he gets to the Final Four. So it is an interesting thing here. Now, do the other 12, can anybody get involved in this to get to that point to go on? At least the bottom half of this is being competitive and battling it out. There's nobody, 60, 70, 80 points out here and completely out of these playoffs. We're going into Charlotte Roval on the Xfinity side with some excitement on who gets eliminated and who advances. Yes, it's dominated on the top two people, possibly top three if you add Mayer into that, but we're seeing some excitement here on the bottom level. That's the minimum that we can ask for from these guys as they continue to move on here. So we'll talk more about the Charlotte Roval here. And like I said, in our look-ahead show on Thursday here at Robat TV, of course, YouTube, and also free podcasting system. Man, we got a lot to look forward to on the Charlotte Roval, right? Connor Zilic is fantastic on the street races. Can he get that win? And, points, he's obviously advancing. So it won't matter if he gets the win, but can somebody else do something to get on that positive side? And when we come back here, of course, at the pit stop, well, let's get into last week's Kansas race as well. Take an early break here because it was race 2 of 3 in the round of 12 for the Cup Series. Some controversy toward the end. If you're a Toyota driver or manufacturer or fan of them, you're pretty upset here. And we're talking a couple days after the race here because my voice didn't really quite look at it. And, man, it is still broiling here with these guys. Let's talk about it all. Set the stage here. Looking back at Kansas. Let's come on back, folks. It's the pit stop. And we're back here at the pit stop, of course. Hope you're enjoying our new set here as well. We moved into a new studio, and with it, some changes here on the set that we're able to do. We're excited about it. We're especially excited about it. Definitely reach out at the Pit Stop Talk, of course, on X. Hit us up there. You can text us on the shows, my show's text line, 623-252-6670. We'd love to hear from you there. Of course, hit me up on X at the Pit Stop Talk, at SMAC500 as well. We'd love to talk to you there. Comment, of course, on the YouTube page as well with the clips and the videos on there on demand. Let us know what your thoughts are. We'd love to see those. We talk about them on air and all of that good stuff out there. So for those of you that found us, appreciate it very much. Right now at the Podbean only is where this podcast is. We're going to get it spread out to everywhere else. We've resubmitted it out to everybody. We had to redo some logos and things. So that is out to everybody. We should be getting those responses back to get it spread out elsewhere. Of course, we're coming to the end of the NASCAR season here in the next few weeks. So I appreciate everybody joining me here for the season. And as we keep this rolling, and the Cup boys there at Kansas as well. We just got done talking about the strategy on the Xfinity Series that worked for a couple, did not work for Allgaier or Mayer out there. Well, then you got the strategy here on the Cup side with the overtime, double overtime, and just the utter domination by the Toyota guys in this race. And then the Chevrolet wins it at the end. I mean, this was a fantastic finish of a race. Regardless of what you thought of the rest of the race, this was a fantastic ending. And week number 2 now, there's some controversy between a couple. Toyota drivers, we'll put it that way. I know 2 weeks ago, it was a controversy between teammates, Ty Gibbs and Denny Hamlin. And now it's around Toyota as a whole with 2311 and Joe Gibbs Racing kind of battling it out. We'll talk about that here coming up as well for them and what happened in this race. Ratings for Kansas came out, USA Network, 1.490 million viewers for Sunday's NASCAR race there at Kansas. NASCAR ratings. Now, the Amazon one and the TNT one, we expected those to be down. Going to streaming services, harder to watch. I know TNT is not technically a streaming service, but they don't count HBO Max. I told you I had a hard time watching the TNT side. I don't have cable. The way to have to watch it is buggy. It didn't work right. I either watched races late or I caught them partially. I had to watch them in batches, right, to see it. Amazon, a lot of older people didn't go to Amazon. There's a younger crowd there as well. Well, now that we're back on the NBC networks, well, specifically USA, ratings are down again here for NASCAR. They have a ratings issue. And I keep hearing all the thoughts of changing the playoffs because that's kind of why people aren't paying attention type of stuff, right? So, interesting enough, ratings were down from last year here at Kansas with that 1.49 rating or people watching. But it was the second most popular sporting event on cable for the weekend. Obviously, NFL dominated the other side of that. And if you missed this race, especially the end of it, that second overtime, you missed Chase Elliott. And just an unbelievable finish there in racing in that last lap here on this race for Chase Elliott. I went into this race where I've been telling you in this round, I told you for 2 weeks in the Look Ahead show, Chase Elliott should advance, but keep an eye on him. He could be the racer that slips down and does not advance as like the surprise guy. Well, that's gone by the wayside as Chase Elliott gets the win here at Kansas in that second overtime. If you missed it, if you don't remember, I can tell you this. I've seen this clip. I watched it live. I've seen this clip 8, 9, 10 times leading up to recording this show right now. I still get goosebumps watching it. Here it is. If you missed it, USA Network, final lap of Sunday's Kansas race.
Well, let's have another go at it. Back under green to try and finish off this Hollywood Casino 400. Wallace in front for the time being. Briscoe goes up high like he did a little earlier. It's a drag race down the back stretch towards 3. Bell looks good at the moment. Briscoe goes up high. Hamlin's hugging the low side. Look how close these two are here. And here comes Chase Briscoe. It's the 3 JGR Toyotas. Wallace is still hanging on. Hamlin has come up into second. With those power steering issues, the man who has led 160 laps today still has a chance on this final lap. Briscoe's in the wall. Bubba's hanging on. Here comes Hamlin. Driving that car with no power steering. Bubba's in the wall. He's fighting his boss for this win. Chase Elliott comes through on the inside. Oh my goodness. Chase Elliott. How about that?
That's an unbelievable call there on the battling it out there. It is how many Toyotas battling out? 4 or 5 Toyotas battling it out. Chase Elliott sneaks up there as Bubba Wallace gets up into the wall. Denny Hamlin's running without power steering, folks. They're at that part of the race. You ever driven a car without power steering? Man, it's going to make your arms fall off from that side as well. Toyotas dominated this race. Denny Hamlin led 159 laps in this race. His Toyota, Christopher Bell and Joe Gibbs led 43 laps in this race as well, right? Chase Briscoe and his Toyota led 19 laps here. Bubba Wallace, 23-11, co-owned, right, by Denny Hamlin, of course, and those guys, 13 laps led by him as well. And for a Chevrolet, right, the pole winner, Chase Briscoe struggled here as well, but the 234 of 273 laps were led by Toyota racers here at Kansas. And for a Chevrolet to get the win, it's unbelievable to see that happen and the way where everybody just pushed themselves high. So 2 weeks ago, you have Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs going at it, and Ty Gibbs getting spun out and, of course, threatening to take out his teammate, kind of squashed during the week. Nobody wanted to talk about it as the week went on between them, which tells me Ty Gibbs was told to shut up, basically, by the team. Hey, you're out of it. Be quiet. Let Denny Hamlin work. That tells me what happened. Then this week, all these Toyotas as a manufacturer battling it out. Now 23-11, Joe Gibbs Racing. But there are Joe Gibbs Racing guys battling inside of this, right? Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, all in there battling out. Then you got the Bubba Wallace that you saw there. Tyler Reddick's battling it out. Those two 23-11 guys on the Toyota manufacturing side. This was a manufacturer battle. This was a fantastic driver. Teams battle out there. The one thing we have learned in the last 2 weeks, a lot of times manufacturers, teams will dictate, right? Hey, it's his turn to win. We need a win so Toyotas can move on. You're advancing. Let him get ahead of you, win whatever. Toyota doesn't have those mandates. These teams are battling it out. Even within the teams, they're battling it out. Will that change moving forward? I suspect it might. 2 weeks in a row now this has happened, but these guys are battling it out, going for the win, and they're detrimental. They're hurting each other while doing it as well for Toyotas and his teammates going forward. And I'm here for it. It is fantastic to watch the racing happen and not be kind of dominated in terms of manipulating these race outcomes as these guys are doing it. Don't forget, Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace going into this Kansas race, they needed a victory to guarantee moving on. They are underneath the cut line going into this, and they're underneath the cut line badly. They both needed a win moving forward. Denny Hamlin is going to advance right on points most likely. Christopher Bell's probably fine as well, but Chase Briscoe can use a victory to guarantee him moving on. And they were just battling it out, trying to get that win. Well, Chase Elliott gets the improbable win here. Here's Chase after the race talking about the win.
Super disappointing, obviously.
Well, actually, this is Denny Hamlin.
Wanted it bad, it would have been 60 for me, and we team just did an amazing job with the car. Just really, really fast. Gave me everything I needed. Got the restart I needed. Just couldn't finish it there on the last corner. Obviously got really, really tight with the 23, and I just got real tight, and we let the 9 win.
Is it this place? It seems to be a riddle that is tough to solve.
Yeah, it's just mechanical failures and different things have really hindered us in years past, and we had no power steering that last run and low voltage, just a lot of things, and just couldn't. I just disappointed because I don't think I've ever had a car that good to the competition. I wanted it for my dad. I wanted it for everybody. Just wanted it a little too hard.
Is Denny Hamlin after the race? I set it up incorrectly. Just really quick programming note here for Kobe and the guys in the back. Cup 2A will be the next one here coming up for you. But Denny Hamlin, you can see him resign, right? Second place finish. Allowed with him pushing above up, no power steering. Allowed Chase Elliott in the Chevrolet to get underneath him and sneak out that improbable win there from those Toyota guys out there. You could see the resignation on his voice. You could see the disappointment on his face. 159 laps led by him alone in the 11 car and not getting that win after being so close there after the win. Now let's go to Chase after the race. This is the Cup 2A.
Wow. How?
I don't know, man. Just everything worked out perfect for me. Had a great push through 1 and 2. That kind of all started with the 6. And, big run off of 2. C's kind of parted and just was able to keep my momentum up. That was really it. And obviously we still had pretty good tires, compared to those guys. But what a crazy finish. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I certainly did. Just really proud of our team. Had a really solid weekend, win or no win. Really nice to qualify really well, but we'll certainly enjoy this, man. This is pretty cool. Just never take this stuff for granted because they're hard to come by, and learn that the hard way. So always enjoy it, always appreciate it. Thanks to everybody at KBB. What a great partner. Been on board for it's our 10th year together, which is pretty cool. Chevrolet, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. Boss, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Glad to be bringing one home.
You said the C's parted, but you kind of had to put a little door to the 11 where you thinking this is my only shot to make it happen.
Oh, I wasn't going to lift, so I didn't know what was going to happen, but I figured, at the end of the day, it was what it was at that point. We were both wide open corner exit, so wherever I ended up. At that point, we were all committed, so it was, really cool just to be, restart 10th and somehow win it on a green-white checker. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other side of it. I didn't mention. Started that restart at 10th and able to get up there for that green-white checker there as well. And, I mean, he said it right there. Look, we were all wide open, meaning pedal to the floor, no other momentum coming up there. We're coming out of that corner, and we're just going to go for it there. And whatever happens, happens is was kind of what he's alluding to there when he talks about there. So, you've seen the broadcast one, obviously. You saw Chase, you saw Denny after the race talking about it. They even showed you there in that clip, Bubba Wallace, right, thanking thinking his his crew and everybody around his team there, right? Battling it out, gets up under that wall, ends up finishing 5th. Bubba needed a win in this race and everything like that. But one of the things NASCAR does really well, and they don't get credit for it, to be honest with you, you can go online and you can see in the moment, or you can watch it afterwards, the in-car of these guys. You saw the broadcast, and you saw how everybody's winding in and out. You saw Chase Elliott. They're in the 9 car underneath, get into the 11 car, and kind of get that victory from that side. This is fantastic. You want to see what a driver sees right there? Here's the video of Chase Elliott in the car video screen here of the final lap. This is Cup 3. So he started 10th here, folks. That's Denny Hamlin in the 11 making his move to the front. Now we got the white flag right now. Gets past Chase Briscoe there in the 19. Denny Hamlin's to his right now. Coming back down with Bubba Wallace in front of him, 23 car. This is the move of the day right here. You see them get pushed up. Bubba goes into the wall, and Chase Elliott had already decided to go down south there. It was Denny Hamlin that hit him there as well, coming around. And, of course, across the start-finish line there for the win. That's what the driver was seeing as he's riding out there as well to get that victory for Chase Elliott. It's fantastic viewpoint that they have when there's moments out there. And I like how NASCAR does that. They bring it to you from that perspective. And it's fantastic. Kansas finishing order, obviously Chase Elliott. Denny Hamlin 1-2. We've already told you that. Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe 3 and 4. Bubba Wallace 5. Kyle Larson, playoff driver there in 6. Tyler Reddick in 7 as well. And you got to give a lot of credit. We'll talk about this here toward the end of the show. Tyler Reddick's day. After what his wife put out on Sunday morning about their family, and he was able to go out there and compete, be there in that 7th spot when it's all said and done. For him, you got to give your hands props to Tyler Reddick and especially his family and thoughts with them. We'll talk about that coming up. William Byron, playoff driver in 9th for them. Ross Chastain in 11th, of course, on the outside looking in, going into this race as well for Ross Chastain here in this race. Joey Logano on the positive side of things going into this race, but if he has a bad day, he's going to flip. He finished 21st, so we'll get you the update here in just a minute on where these guys stand. But Joey Logano and his teammate Ryan Blaney there, the two Ford Team Penske drivers. Ryan Blaney 24th here in this race as well. Austin Cindric, not a good day at all, 30th for him as well. 200, basically 2 laps down when it's all said and done for there. So Team Penske kind of taking a hit here in this race as well in this Kansas finishing order for them. I kind of questioned if Team Penske wouldn't be there at the end with the speed that they've garnered here on these 1.5-mile courses, and they were nowhere close to being there at the end for both of those drivers out there. So I told you Toyota, obviously Hendrick guys would be there. We expect them to have speed, and this was just unbelievable speed in this 1.5-mile track here going into Kansas Raceway. Now let's throw up the playoff standings after Kansas and where we are going into the final cut race here coming up of the Charlotte Roval here of the round of 12. Obviously, Chase Elliott with his playoff win and Ryan Blaney with his playoff win move on to the next round, guaranteed spot in there. Obviously, if somebody wins this next race at Charlotte, they get an advancement as well. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, I'm going to say William Byron, but definitely Larson, Hamlin, and Bell are moving on to the next round unless just absolute categoric destruction happens here coming up at Charlotte Roval. I'm going to even throw William Byron in there with 40 points up. I think you got a battle here for the final 2 playoff spots. And I'm going off of points. Obviously, somebody wins, they move on. Austin Cindric, unless you win the Charlotte Roval, you are done in this round. We've known that for a while. Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace. I said they were done going into this Kansas race. They both performed way better than I thought they would. Problem is their points are out. Can they advance and make up those points? Technically, yes. Are they? No. I think both 23-11 guys lose out this weekend there as well. Here's the question that I got. Ross Chastain, I don't trust him on a road course. Charlotte Roval, technically a road course. I don't trust him on this at all. I don't know if we're going to see a flip in points here coming up this weekend. If we do, though, I do believe it'll be Chase Briscoe that'll slide down and Ross Chastain will slide up. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. That'll be kind of what I'm looking at. Joey Logano, I think, will advance this weekend. And we'll talk more of that on our Look Ahead show coming up, of course, on Thursday of this week as we look ahead to that Charlotte Roval now. But, some big movements here in Kansas. Charlotte Roval is going to eliminate guys pretty easily here this weekend. Kind of takes some of the question marks out that we're looking at moving forward. Something that's happened after the Kansas race, the 77 car, Carson Hocevar, ended up spinning out late in this race. Got to the bottom, spun out. All four tires were flat, etc. And, NASCAR has come out and done penalties here on Carson Hocevar and that 77 team. Hocevar was fined $50,000. It's basically, they called it member conduct violations is what the penalty is that he got. So according to NASCAR, the 77, of course, spun to a halt on the backstretch, and this was lap 260 of 273. So as I said, late in the race, causing one of those restarts there and then eventual overtimes that come in as well at that point. Multiple tires were done, if not all four. Definitely 3 out of the 4 were flat for Carson Hocevar at that point. Safety personnel arrived to the car after the crash, and officials indicated that Hocevar revved and spun his tires in an attempt to rejoin the field while safety workers were there looking at his car, attending to his car, etc. You cannot put safety personnel in any type of danger when they're out there to help you as a driver. NASCAR is fining him $50,000 at this point. That's the only penalty that's come out as of right now, as him as a driver as well. So that's the penalties coming out. Look, safety guys are there. You can be upset. You can be whatever you want to be, man. But those safety drivers are there to protect you, make sure you're safe, one, after a wreck, but then two, make sure you're safe in the car after the wreck, and things to that effect. So not a good look by Carson Hocevar. $50,000 later is what he's facing here moving forward. And look, hopefully he's learned that lesson coming up. So that's the Kansas race in the nutshell. There is one thing, though. It's a serious note, so I left it for the end of the show here. Sunday morning, we woke up and we saw over the social medias, Tyler Reddick's wife, name's Alexa Reddick. She posted Sunday morning on Instagram about they have several kids, and one of them was having a heart issue and things to that effect, and was in the hospital and being rushed there as well. So here's what she said, quote, "After a run around for months with the pediatrician's office, I knew what was going on was something bigger. Always trust your mom gut. Our sweet rookie," that's the baby's name, "was showing signs of heart failure that was being missed. Please pray for the sweet guy that God heals his heart. With God, rookie, and this amazing doctors here at Levine's, I believe he can. We are in cardiovascular ICU while we get some answers and work on improving heart function." Terrible situation for them as a family. Obviously, young child. By the way, 4 months old. Rookie is. So put yourself in the shoes in general. You know there's been health issues. Doctors have been misdoing it. Then Sunday morning comes, man, and you're in Kansas getting ready for a race, and your kid's in the hospital. 4-month-old's in the hospital. You're not sure what's happening, and you go out there. You find out everything's stable. I saw some comments afterwards where he knew he was stable. They knew he was in good care. Nothing was going to happen during the race, for instance. So he went out there and races. Tyler Reddick did. Finished 7th in this race and had a fantastic day out there as well on the racetrack. So you just got to think a little bit about that. It kind of puts life right into perspective here as well, man. That won the best for, of course, rookie in the Reddick family as well. But just props to Tyler Reddick to go out there, block it out, and have a good racing day for them as they're trying to stay alive in the playoffs. I know that's secondary, folks, but he was able to still go out there and do it after that post there on Sunday morning, because they knew as soon as they posted it, it was going to become a story around the racetrack, and obviously it did as well, right? So got to give credit, say what you want about him racing instead of being there, and that's not my decision. That's a parent's decision. He had more information than we did going into that race. I don't know how many guys would have been able to go out there and race with that news and that story hitting as well out there. So, and he had a good race day. Nobody would fault him if he either didn't race or if he had a bad race day for that side of there. So keep the Reddicks, of course, in your thoughts here with their child as he is coming around, and hopefully good health for them leading forward into this weekend. Charlotte Roval this weekend. So look ahead show coming Thursday here at Robat TV, YouTube, and of course the free podcasting system. We get all 3 national series up and running again this weekend. The Truck Series, Xfinity, and Cup. Xfinity and Cup elimination races at the Charlotte Roval this weekend as well. So come and join us this Thursday here on demand at Robat TV, YouTube, and of course the podcast system. We'll look ahead to this weekend. Who advances? Who are our picks? All that's coming up, folks, as we get in closer to the Phoenix Championship race coming up at the end of this month, folks. See you all on Thursday.